Welcome back, everybody, to the Open Qualifiers for VALORANT Challengers North America. My name is Marks, this is Keg, and we're finally moving into our last series of the night. One more spot remains. Keg, are you ready for this?
You know, I'm as ready as I can be, Marks. It's so sad to see that Open Qualifier number 1's coming to an end. I want all the teams to qualify, but where's the competition in that, right? But that's okay. We have one more team, and it's a banger series. We've seen a lot of Winthrop before, and now we have Thinking Men for the very last slot to see who can make it through. And there's a lot to talk about for both of these teams. You know, Marks, where should we begin?
I mean, first of all, I just want to highlight the fact that Winthrop University, they're a university. This is a collegiate team that could potentially qualify for challengers. And personally, I think that's sick because I think that the collegiate scene has been really growing in a lot of these esports spaces. So it's really cool to see Winthrop University get all the way here.
No, I'm really excited to see a potential collegiate team inside of VCL. I mean, we've seen collegiate teams just break through all the time during this offseason. Any tournament you can think of that you've seen outside of Tier 1, collegiate teams have been there and they have done so well. But the journey for both these teams to get to this point has also been kind of wild. I mean, we had seen Winthrop, they've beaten a lot of great teams, they lost out sadly to SAD, and they bring themselves to the lower bracket. But Thinking Men, they've also beaten some collegiate teams of their own. They removed Blinn away from not only the upper bracket, but they fell to the lower bracket, and they're the ones that knocked them out of the entire qualifier. So Thinking Men, they got some brains on them. They know how to deal with collegiate teams. But I gotta say, Marks, I'm a little worried into this matchup.
Yeah, I don't blame you, honestly, because I think that Winthrop University has been a little bit of a banger team to just kind of go through the entire bracket. They've honestly been looking extremely good. And the Thinking Men, they've been doing a really good job in the lower bracket. Like you said, just kind of taking their stages one by one. But there can only be one between these two teams that can actually make their way into challengers. So it all comes down to this for this first Open Qualifiers.
Absolutely. And look, a team named Thinking Men going up against you if you're Winthrop University is going to be a little scary. The big reason why we have Winthrop here facing the lower bracket, I guess kind of relegation out of this tournament, right, to get into VCL, is because you've lost to two very important series by pretty much making the same exact mistake. We had seen very critical matches. We talked about it a lot yesterday. Winthrop versus Ambrosia lost a lot to a double initiator composition. What happened when Winthrop went against SAD? Double initiators. They got queen bobbed all over the place. But if they can look back at that footage and recollect themselves to not fall for those fake baited plays as much, Thinking Men are going to have a big challenge on their hands.
It almost feels like that eagerness, you want to engage early, you want to just go for it because you're itching to just get into the middle of the action. That seems to be where Winthrop kind of thrives, so it makes sense that they'd go for that. But I mean, kind of like you just pointed out there, Thinking Men, thinking is in their name. And so you know that they're going to be playing and also understanding their opponent coming into this one. These guys are no slouches either. Obviously, taking a look at their roster, they have Zeke, they've got Anderson, they've got Reformed. These are some of the players who have once again been going through these circuits for quite some time. And at this point, you've got your eyes on the prize. You want to make your way into Challengers League and actually turn Valorant into your career.
Yeah, I mean, going on top of that, too, we have Paint on that roster, and Paint was really big going to the early qualifiers into last year. A really dominant Raze player. We had seen a lot of Paint crazy clips on social media, but then Paint kind of got silent towards the middle of the year. So I'm glad to see him have this kind of reform back into Challengers qualifications once again. I want to see that aggressive playstyle that we saw so much of before. And, if we talked about Son of Car in the last series doing so well in terms of mechanical play and just thinking on top of that, if you're Paint and you have great exceptional mechanical prowess yourself, you're on a team called Thinking Men. You got some brains on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Obviously, when we saw in the last series, Son of Car kind of being this crazy player, but imagine if you have a team built around that, more or less to support that. And Thinking Men, they do have the pieces in place to make sure that they can make that happen. Still, the Winthrop University, I mean, they've got some sluggers on their squad as well. Yeah. Gucci, Boobs, it's so good coming out from that squad.
You know, to be honest with you, Moves is one of those players that I hadn't really heard about much before the qualifiers, and after commentating them yesterday, he performed so well. I was really impressed with a lot of the Reyna prowess that he had brought out. Normally, personally, not the biggest Reyna fan in the world when it comes to playing something like qualifiers, but when you can make it work, you can make it work, and he most certainly did. Do I think we're going to see more outlandish comps this time around? For Winthrop's side, probably not. I think this will be a series of safety, but going to that split match that we had yesterday, a big reason why they had lost was they stuck to that safety composition. They played out the Sky. Sky's been changed. Sad, they brought out a KO, shut down everything that Winthrop tried to bring out. So maybe we will see a few adjustments. Maybe we will see a little bit of off-kilter meta plays from Winthrop's side.
Yeah, and well, let's get into the matchup. I mean, obviously, both of these teams, we've talked quite a bit about them, but let's take a look at what our maps are going to be for this series. We're going to be starting things out onto Breeze, which is Winthrop University's pick. Then Thinking Men are going to be bringing us to Lotus, and that decider, if necessary, is going to be a split. So I have to say, gang, a lot of these teams are really favoring Lotus and Breeze in this Open Qualifier.
You say Lotus and Breeze, and that's absolutely true. These are good maps for Winthrop. But the biggest surprise to me is that they banned out Sunset as the very first map. For days 1 and 2, Winthrop was synonymous with Sunset. A near 100% win rate, 13 1s, 13 2s, 13 0s against a litany of teams. But again, going back to the Ambrosia match, when they were shut down there, they haven't played Sunset since, so they don't want that footage up against them, and they're hiding it away. Breeze and Lotus for them, though, were kind of those tertiary picks. Like, if the Icebox wasn't available, Sunset couldn't be played, they would rely on Breeze and Lotus as those newer maps in the competitive pool to be that uncomfortability factor against different teams. But now that you're so far into the qualifiers, I don't know that uncomfortability factor is really going to be a factor against Thinking Men.
I mean, you can still talk about uncomfortability to certain degrees with the level of like kind of how you play your strategy. But what it comes down to, especially too on a little bit more of these more static maps where you kind of have an idea on what the compositions are going to be and all of that type of stuff, is just how well you're adapting to your other team. Yeah. And we saw a lot of that earlier today, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, I imagine that is going to be very much the case. Understanding some of the players that are going to be coming into this one, they're familiar with each other's own play styles. And so, you know, we're at this level where you can qualify for challengers. You're going to be pulling out every single stop, including, like you said, potentially taking away one of the maps where they have a good idea. There's a lot of footage out there for the other team to study.
Look, I want this to go to 3 maps because I want to see the redemption game between Winthrop and, well, I suppose Winthrop and just Split in general. Because it was a close match, and Split has been a map that they've been comfortable on, but they were masterclassed against them for SAD to bring themselves into this lower bracket matchup. For Thinking Men, I think they have a very diverse map pool, I should say. There's not really a lot to talk about on their side. They've looked consistent pretty much across the board in terms of different maps. So it's really going to come down to, I think, those micro plays and the adaptability that comes around it. The thing that I'm looking forward to the most right now, Marks, is I want to see what the agent selection is going to look like when it's ready, because I think that's going to be the determining factor of whether or not we go to a third map.
You're 100% on the dot, and okay, I'm going to throw something out there. I'm going to try and materialize it with my own words.
I'm ready. Hold on. Let me manifest with you. Ready? I'm ready. Okay. I'm ready.
All right. I'm doing the weird fingers thing, but I'm hoping we're going to see a Yoru on this map on Breeze.
Actually, you're not wrong. I would consider Yoru to be meta, and the reason why we haven't seen him much on Breeze is, again, I think teams are trying to play as safe as possible. Yoru can be absolutely nutty. When you're faced up against a Cypher, you can get shut down so easily on the entry, but you bring out the gate crash, you bring out the dimensional drift when you have it available. If you're countered by a Viper's Pit, you can ping to your team exactly where she's located, take her down, and you have a free sight. Yoru is so good at manipulating rotations and just keeping your enemy checking behind them at all times. And now that Halls is opened back up again, that's the perfect gateway for a gate crash.
And one of the things too, specifically with Yoru, not to beat this tangent into the ground, is on the defense too can almost work like a pseudo chamber. In the sense that you have an operator, you toss the gate crash behind you, you take really aggressive angles, you miss that first shot, you just zip out of there nice and easy. And on top of that too, you can throw out a couple of fakes to slow the enemy team down. So I'm not saying it's completely non-viable, but completely viable. But I do think that there could be a little bit of creativity coming out there, which at this stage, that's going to be the big question. Do you play it safe, play what you know, or do you try and throw the other team a little bit off?
Oh, if you want to throw the team off, you got to bring out that Yoru. But I could also see a reality where, playing 3D chess against your enemy opponent, if you're expecting a Yoru, you might want to bring out the KO. Have those knife lineups here. Looks like, though, we're just about ready for... Oh, the map selection. There it is, the Yoru pick. And there's no KO for the counterplay. Moves is going to return again as that Reyna. So the Reyna, the Yoru. It's in terms of what the flashes can look like. Now... if it were me, I am more of a fan of the Yoru pick here than the Reyna. The only real added benefit you have with having the Reyna over Yoru is that you can flash in for your team on a huge aggressive entry and not worry about blinding out your team.
Well, we manifested it. I'm claiming that one, okay?
Yeah, I'm telling you, the finger thing works.
It works. We should manifest a really good game of Valorant between these two squads.
I'm gonna get $1 million.
Okay, well, I guess one of us is thinking.
Oh, you're Canadian. Never mind.
Everyone is thinking more of themselves, but I think that this is going to be a banger, and I can't wait to kick off this last series. Let's see which one of these teams is going to be able to secure their spot into Challengers, and moves already ready to go, has that Leer in hand, and is going to just run into Thinking Men.
Yep, the Leer is in place. I'm watching for that early flash 2 from the Yoru. There it is, Leer, the counterplay. Oh, Reform the first to fall. A big battle to begin with. Both Sentinels, though. I'm counting Viper here. On B site, need to rotate back around to A. Now there's that Hulse control from Anderson. It's a good first start, but he's hidden away.
Looking for an angle, at least anchoring things down. Pain able to find one, Pain able to find two, and Anderson looking for that last pick, but will be taken down just at the last second here as Paint going in a little bit more. The men are extremely low HP, but Pain ain't done just quite yet. Give him the ace, one more kill ready to go.
Does it happen?
Out here. Okay. Gucci now in this 1v2, looking for it, but Paint is able to secure the ace. Thinking, man, that is an excellent start to this final series.
One heck of an opening there. Beautiful work. I mean, an ace to start things off, and Paint, not the take away from it, didn't do really anything special to achieve the ace either. Early gunfights, took proper positioning, waited for the overextension early on from Winthrop, and then finally getting on site, just divided out a bunch of 1v1s. I love what Thinking Men had accomplished in the beginning of that round, but it really came down to, I feel Reformed losing their life as the opening pick, didn't have that flash capabilities, no chance for that escape, and really made things a lot more difficult, as we can see in the Zippo replay, for Paint not to take those 1v1s.
And King, I'm so glad that you highlighted Paint before we got things started here, because obviously, going up against Winthrop and then kind of flexing like that, especially on that pistol round, 5 kills right off the bat, and looking very comfortable doing so. I mean, that's sending a statement over.
Absolutely. And what's the buy up here for Paint gonna look like? Okay, a Vandal, yeah. I'm not surprised. Paint is feeling it right now, and I do not blame him. Bring out the Vandal here, normally a very risky choice. Having a lot of utility to back him up works out well. Now remember, I talked about those gate crashes before in the pre-show. We don't see that just yet, but we can see the 3-stack and Hulse anticipating some shenanigans outside of your typical routing. It's not going to be the case, though. There's that gate crash. It's going to hide behind bricks. This is good for that pseudo chamber that you had mentioned before, Marks, but we'll have to wait and see.
Anderson, I guess that piece of information actually decides to just back out, and I actually think that's the right move. Now the engagement could be happening on this night. Snakebite gets dropped down. Paint already into the back quarters of the site here. A little bit of information given, but not enough to really secure any kills. It's going to be util being traded back and forth. Spike hasn't gone down, but the wall will first, and all will the bodies of Winthrop Gonna be 3 kills from 3 different agents, suddenly down to the last, and not a single gun will be dropped to the floor. Thinking, man, they sweep through that A site.
Yeah, and if you Winthrop in that round, you're not really expecting to come out with a round win in your favor. You're really just looking to remove guns away from Thinking Men, and having a beautiful round like that, not quite the case in Winthrop's side. The economy for Thinking Men on a map like this where there's a lot of stray gunfights going to be so important to build up. And remember, we had Paint get the Vandal into round 2, kept it alive. That's going to allow a lot of cycling into this next round with a lot of firepower on what should normally be a very weapon disadvantageous round for a team that won the first 2. Early Viper Wall should be good to divide out at least that opening. The audio should be heard if that orb picked up.
Thinking, man, they just always go for that orb. They know that it's more or less going to be free, and actually, just walking through now, Paint going to be taking sight right off the bat. Recon Bolt gets sent to the back, but no information really gathered. A little bit slower this time, Keg.
It's slow, but Steady wins the race. Vix is still waiting. Good for the opening. Paint falls.
Still, Spike not going to be down just quite yet. One look around. Vix in the back line here, able to find one, but Moves gets that trade back.
One enemy remaining.
It's across the site, and it's not looking good as Anderson is the last person left standing, able to find Moves just in the back there. Looking for a little bit more. Still has this Bulldog in hand. Snakebite just goes off to the side, but it's not going to be enough. Jerk, Vandal in hand, finds that headshot, and Winthrop University come right back into things.
A beautiful round, and not too many bodies lost means that weapon cycling once again for Winthrop can be healthy. Nazi, though, Nazi was beautiful the other day when they faced against SAD. They played so well on their defensive side. I believe they got an ace themselves on the Cypher. They did such a good job holding down B site that it was so hard to bring it back. And that might be part of the reason why Thinking Men are really choosing to approach A site so well. When Winthrop were in the same exact situation, they were forced to play A site purely as a retake opportunity. But the tides change a little bit this time around. Double duelist right outside elbow. Perfect for Paint.
Looking for it is going to be good for it. Infiltrator already down. And now that sends a signal to Winthrop University to be careful of this operator. They have an idea where it is. But still, Moves not going to be playing off of that one.
Yeah, it was a dry swing too. Those Lears still available. And quite literally Lears available too. Going for the Alwadrone mid. It's all silent.
Uses the flash just around the corner. Moves somehow able to get it. Can dismiss out of there nice and easy. Tosses out the Lear to back out of the site as Thinking Man start their engagement here, but it's a nice little smoke. Boobs does take a little bit of damage, but disengagement happens for a second.
I like this disengagement, just waiting for the poison cloud to drop and looking for a stray gunfight. Baits out the Lear, and that's a good start. And look at this cross from Anderson all the way deep in the halls. Now there is someone watching it, and it's Jerk. Anderson may not be fully aware of that just yet, but the rotate values from B to A will be strong. 30 seconds left. It has to be a mad dash back over to A for Thinking Men. They have the operator's presence good to secure mid, but they have to make this work and secure at least one more pick before taking A site. But no, the lurk dies. Jerk is still good to retain the backside control.
Gucci finding Pain as well. Another massive pick. Spike should be able to go down here. Oh, just taken off. But Lear gets the relocation. We'll be able to get the Spike down now. It's going to be this 4v2 retake for Winthrop University. Lear at least has this operator, not the spray through, not the step into the poison. It all falls apart. And now Vic's the last person left alive, able to at least find Gucci there. Tosses down that spy camera up top, but now the Swarm is going to be moving in, and Moves secures that final kill onto the Reyna. This Winthrop University, they tie up that score.
And look at those pings already. Could be guesstimating about where the defender presence was going into that final execution. Could be the fact of the matter is that Thinking Men may have, and we'll have to check in a second, they may very well have Dimensional Drift ready. And that could mean very good backside control in the favor of that Yoru. Now, there is one more point missing for Reformed. They do farm up that orb on A site early round. That's going to be good leverage marks. That's going to allow the Yoru to take full backside control and allow a bit of a reprieve for someone like Anderson if they want to go back halls and just crunch out Winthrop in their own spawn.
A lot of strategies available for them now.
Yeah.
But first, they got to pick up that ultimate orb, Keg.
That's true. There is the Bladestorm from Paint to help subsidize things. I don't think pistols is necessarily a deficit this round for Thinking Men. But they do have the op against them. They have to remove guns.
A lot of space taken. Cloudburst already gets utilized. A flash out there, but look at that. Pain able to find the right click onto moves. That's going to allow for that rifle to get picked up as well. A lot of information given. Gucci in a very vulnerable position as Paint just sweeps that up. Jerk able to at least find Reformed the chaos of it. Nicely up top, finds Lear's head. Unbelievable stuff. Anderson down as well. And it all falls apart for Thinking Men. Paint left alive, 20 HP left, and a headshot from a Vandal as it's just Winthrop University locking down that site. You will find no spike plant here.
I saw the vision. Give Paint Bladestorm, let him get the opening pick up the Vandal, get another one, give the Vandals to somebody else, and just keep the cycle going. And it could have worked well, but Paint was immediately shut down by Jerk, and that was such an important pick for Winthrop. They have that lead right now. They were dominant on their own defense way back yesterday, but they started to lose rounds once rifles were acquired by the enemy teams. It seems though the tides have turned this time though, and Thinking Men are in that same boat.
Right here.
Hunter's Fury for Jerk. Saw the Neural Theft as well. Oh. Dimensional Drift blocking out the dash. You don't see that too often.
Rare occurrences spotted in Valorant, but at least Jerk's able to escape there. Hunter's Fury was utilized early, but doesn't find much. Reformed finally released out of the Dimensional Drift, but Moobs is ready for that. Oh, excellent timing there, but it's not quite done just quite yet. It's absolute chaos on this site as it's just erupting in madness. Okay, Infiltrator hopping in with the shorty now, but Lear just really smartly just backs out of that one. Able to stay alive as Gucci sweeps up Vix from mid. And now Lear in a 1v2 scenario should be able to at least get this plant down.
No utility to work with though. Baiting out those tank lines. Not having to worry about any extra factors. There is that Hunter's Fury available. 46 HP to work with. Not even necessary. Nasi again with the rotation there to secure things. Oh, great anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nasi has been doing a fantastic job on that A site. More or less just allowing those same positions to be played, but it's just the gunplay that's been coming out from that Cypher that's really made a difference. It's made it so difficult for Thinking Men to be able to find a safe position on A.
But B-Site's been barely approached so far by Thinking Men. Spike is not dedicated anywhere just yet. In fact, that Viper Wall is the conditioning towards A site we don't see too often. There is that gate crash too. The entire idea is split push, default, look for the opening pick, and have Reform pick up that spike and rotate sites.
Anderson going up top. A couple of Hail Mary bullets from that Sheriff, not finding much, but the Owl Drone gets expended to clear out mid. This is Thinking Men taking a lot of space on mid.
And look at this difference now. Viper util set up for A site. It's going to be Infiltrator in the back. Semi-Sentinel with an operator alone could be good for the anti-entry, but you're not watching tunnel.
Oh, Infiltrator misses that, and so Paint, with the Sheriff in hand, is able to scoop up that kill. And now Jerk knows that mid might be a little bit more of a threat. It's not going to be re-aggression there as the decoy gets utilized to push up onto B, but it's going to be a slow maneuver over to A.
Now keep in mind, remember, Winthrop didn't really fire their operator shots at all the last 2 rounds. There's a good chance that Thinking Men aren't even aware that they just removed the op and it could be picked up. All in halls now. Moves playing a dangerous game again, solo play, only having a Lear as a backup.
We'll actually get into a pretty nifty position here. Hunter's Fury gets utilized early on. Looking for damage. Not actually able to find much here. Jerk, though, it's going to be as good forever. Able to find 2. The Spritzer actually is going to remove Gucci from that position, but now Jerk is moving in. Jerk's not done yet. 1 kill away from getting the ace, and actually Jerk gets it. I thought for sure Moves was going to steal that one, but Jerk comes through the ace for Winthrop University.
I mean, we talked about the tempo setting. Round number 1 of this series, Paint comes away with an ace, and now Jerk the same? I mean, I am willing to bet you we're probably going to have 1 more ace this map. The back and forth has been incredible, and the fact that Jerk has been floating so well, utilizing the recon bolt to subsidize information, especially in mid, for the rest of his team, has been so good to shut down a lot of map spacing that Thinking Men need to rely on. It funnels the team back in the tunnel. Unfortunately, though, tunnel hasn't worked too well either for Thinking Men. It's a split push into mid, a full-on rush. Viper's Pit is out, you bet you wish you would have that dimensional drift back. Or even a life.
Jerk finds one. Infiltrator does miss the shot, but lets the operator show its presence. Gucci goes down, actually. That means the pit is going to be completely taken offline. Hunter's Fury coming out now, trying to get more information, but moves on the back line. Completely clears out Lear. Not going to be happening this time around. And looking for it, finds the headshot onto Anderson. Paint goes for the challenge, but actually taken out from behind. And just like that, Vix The last person left standing up against 4 still alive for Winthrop.
Yeah, Winthrop. They work so well against aggressive attacking teams. Sad when they had played against them on Breeze, they played a very slow early round, waiting for Winthrop to get antsy and overextend themselves, and they often would. And they would lose those gunfights. Thinking Men, though, if they can fight fire with fire early on into the round, they haven't been winning consistent opening picks. Winthrop, they're essentially playing a 4v5 a lot of these rounds. And if they can just keep that economy down from Thinking Men, have the 4 spies into a Thrifty and another left. 4 spy and Thrifty yet again, Winthrop are good for this defense. They just have to keep the cycle going and make sure no adaptations on Thinking Men's end could work out well.
And honestly, too, I think they've been doing a fantastic job at playing these long sight lines to pick up those first couple of picks. It's so difficult when you see the Thinking Men trying to move in, and then they lose a couple of members, so they pause just for a second, allowing for an additional moment of respite for Winthrop University. And then that's when you see those flanks get set up and just executed on to brilliance.
It's so tough, right? Because Thinking Men, they don't want to go into the double Sentinel utility on B site, but they want to take A. But the problem is, outside of the Sentinel util, you have a huge stack up on A site. So many players hiding near Yellow and Bridge, just waiting for someone to push through double doors to mow them down, or overextend backside. Mow them down. Jurek has been so instrumental in making sure A site is not a great place for Thinking Men to push into, and it's funneling Thinking Men into only approaching A site. Now it's a timeout. Look at the aggressive attacking pings on B site. They're looking to split push from elbow and main B into B site. And you can already see the rotates are called from the defenders as well. The Cypher, the Viper, not too far away. Infiltrator might be the only defender on A site into this round, but I think he's also stacked up with those 2 Sentinels.
This is good. Winthrop University, they're like, listen, we're going up against Thinking Men. We got to think ourselves, you know? We got to start busting out the strats, trying to read things a bit better.
I was thinking about that in the back of my head. I was thinking like, Hank, should you say it? Nah. I'm glad you said it, Mark.
Sorry, I stole that brain nugget from you. That's my bad.
That's okay. Not too many left. I'm trying to use them all this series.
You got to think on that one, huh?
But look at
That's a genuine Keg laugh, by the way. I haven't heard that in a while.
What was the last time? September?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, jeez. Look at this. Sentinel, Cypher set up outside of B main. The flash into mid for the aggression towards elbow yet again. It's going to crunch down on Thinking Men. A perfect read now from Winthrop.
It's aggression, infiltrator. Operator ready to go. Spots of 4 going through. The information is going to be given. Nicey just hanging out inside of it. Oh my goodness, can't see much, but at least able to get one. This infiltrator pops the Blade Storm as well. Uses that updraft, no longer has that available, thanks to that wonderful patch that nerfed Jet into the ground, but Operator's still available, moves ready to go. The rest of the squad are reconvening as that spike still having difficulty getting planted.
Grounded.
Oh. Clinical.
Okay. Infiltrator, able to at least scoop that one back up. So Reformed picks up the spike, but now in a 1v3. Understands that op is on the other side, but Keg, this is not looking good for this Yoru.
No gate crash available either. The main crux of why you would bring out a Yoru is to teleport away, and you can't do that.
Portal closed.
Nope, there we go. Yeah, I saw Infiltrator poke around the corner there. Only needs a pixel and will be able to find that kill. Winthrop University 7-2. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think it would be like this.
I was expecting more adaptations from Thinking Men going to their rifle rounds, but it really does feel like Winthrop have cleaned up their game from yesterday, and they know they can play much more aggressive and not let the confidence hurt them. I mean, what we had seen before was a lot of just dialing it back, shelling to the back of A and B site, giving space to these attacking teams, and then playing purely for retakes. I'm glad we're seeing a much more progressive, I suppose a progressive appearance from the defending team. Oh, proactive is the word I'm looking for. A much more proactive presence.
Right here.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't think that's quite the word.
Well, I mean, it kind of is.
Close enough,
you're progressing into the site.
Speaking of progressing into the site, Paint progressing right into Gucci's dome with a knife. Still only has 15 HP left. Took quite a bit of damage on that entry, but a lot of space taken. And this is something we've seen the Thinking Men do multiple times. Paint not letting up off the gas pedal just quite yet, but Jerk gonna finally shut that down. It it is going to be Reformed actually up top there. Not going to be needed for it as Vix is going to be good for it. Now moves. Last person left standing. 1v3 scenario. Uses both those leaders. Finds a Reformed first. Dismisses back onto the site. Has a rough idea where they might be hanging out, but this Spike is in such a difficult position here. 22 bullets left. More than enough to be able to potentially get this done, but swing comes through and Anderson saves that off into the next round. An excellent little go strat coming in from Thinking Men.
Yeah, beautiful clean round there from Thinking Men. Just outright disrespecting all that space creation that Winthrop like to take. Paint recognizing that there's a lot of backside control now, despite how proactive we've seen Winthrop in the last few rounds themselves. Jerk, Nasi having that double cross control there. Paint still looking to make sure it can be at least delayed to allow the spike to go through. Beautiful work. And now we're going back to default for Winthrop's side. Having the Viper solo play on A site, holding it down. Everybody else taking that mid control. Full expectation that Thinking Men are going to do something different this time.
So also too, spotting out the jet there. Huge information. Paint almost able to secure the kill, but not quite getting it. That would have been huge if they could take Infiltrator out right off the bat.
Reform now does have that operator. You mentioned before the teleport plays would be huge, but what about Moobs?
Moobs looking the wrong way. Paint finds that headshot, shuts that down. That's all that information on mid, more or less given up. Thankfully, Gucci can clear that yet again, but still Thinking Men, they slow their pace down completely.
This is just like how Sad had played yesterday. Waiting for the over-aggressiveness and move to fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Infiltrator misses the op. Now that's discovered.
Another one gets missed, unfortunately. Reformed. That was going to get flushed out here, but time is slowly ticking down, Keg.
Yeah, 44 seconds left. You don't have a lot of room to work with. Luckily, though, all the bodies still left alive. A decoy. Huge.
Yeah, now the engagement could be underway here. A little bit of a flash. Paint caught in the mist of the green, but Gucci shuts that one down. Jerk looking for it, tosses out that shock bolt. Oh, Infiltrator can't quite find it, and it's going to be the Vandal Spray that works, but actually, it's Vandal Spray from Jerk that works, in addition to a shock bolt back sight that is going to find that kill. And just like that, Winthrop University. Blink and it's over.
That tiny little nuances there. That whole round was in Thinking Men's favor up until the final moments. Removing Moobs meant no flashes for the backside. Having the slow push in, having the body advance should have been the round, but Jerk is just so good. 16-4. A 4 KD. That's the best math I can do, and it's well worth it for Jerk. And now the final round for the attacking side. Thinking Men need to get 4 here to have some buffer room into the next half.
Oh man, Paint striking again. Infiltrator dropping the op, but you know that Infiltrator's not the only one who's a good opper on Winthrop University. Dimensional Drift gonna get activated to spot things out a little bit, clear out that B site, but this is different. Thinking Men usually don't move here.
No, this is unique. Moves, especially taking that aggressive stance.
He's able to find Paint there. Gets the dismiss as well. Going back for more. One shot, one kill. Reformed goes down. Nicey just on the other side. Doesn't realize that just in front. Handle in hand. Will shut one down. Shut two down. Has the neural theft available as well. The cyber cage deployed. Will be nice and hidden. And Vix, last person left standing. Down long, able to find moves. Now only 30 HP left in a 1v2. The spike securely onto that B site.
Not a lot of opportunities. The Owl Drone does expire.
It's now going for the angle, but Nicey a little bit quicker with it. Shuts that down. Winthrop University, 9-3.
This is everything you could have hoped for if you're Winthrop. A great defensive side, great from yesterday as well, but I mean, what a cleanup from the rest of the squad. The entirety of yesterday was Nasi finding a lot of beautiful work on B site, but catering towards A. Thinking Men thought they had the advantage, but everyone really had stepped up, especially Jerk. Good backside control. Things get really interesting here. Defensive Yoru means the back lines are going to be pressured every single round, or at least it should be. It's going to put those tripwires that Nasi has to the test. Outside of that, too, the aggression from Paint and Reform should be a lot higher than what we had seen before. Boobs and Infiltrator were great to play together. Reform and Paint might not have that same synergy with a big blinding flash that the Yoru can have. Big default to start things off with. Waiting again, just like before. Any sort of defender to overextend themselves. Moves is purposely hit by utility. Information gained. A distraction.
Moves trying to challenge that one, but Paint gonna be good for it. Had Reformed ready to go just in case, and now information going to be given up as Vix has that Cypher cam. Gets the information. Tripwires are going to get rolled down, but it's very patiently just waiting for the rest of the team to come back around before this retake happens, and Vix very smartly backing out here, Keg.
Avoiding all the tripwires, potentially if they fight through tunnel. No way. Gunfight City, everyone's corralling together and thinking, man. They have the body advantage. Not anymore.
Okay, Infiltrator finds a collateral headshot, actually. Finally does get shut down, but hey, got my 3. Don't hear that too
I
often,
got mine.
But now Winthrop University in an excellent position to secure this round. Peyton Lear have to push into a 3-person defense on this site, and a lot of utility to really stall that out.
Last player standing.
Camera goes down. Nicey is able to find Lear. Paint looking for it, but Nicey in the back shuts it down. Winthrop University find themselves at double digits.
Yeah, great hold there from Winthrop, and now only 3 rounds away from moving on to the second map and potentially the final one they have in qualifiers to move on forwards to VCL. Big buy up here again. Paint got the ace the first pistol round. They got the Vandal. And this is, well, it was potentially even riskier. Infiltrator and Gucci won that extra firepower. But they know they have the distance advantage now. Pistols on the defense. They can rock with the marshals here and find so much long-range work, especially inside of halls. That's not the plan for Thinking Men, though. They want mid-control. Or at least try to bait out and hold for the execution if anyone rushes mid. It's the crossfire setup, too. It may never be. It's another default again from Winthrop, looking to see what information they can find before they make that execute. There's nothing yet.
So slow.
Yeah.
So what's going on? But I love these angles that are being held. A lot of ping is going onto that B site, meaning that's where they're going to be moving over. And okay, there's only a Cypher hanging out there. No utility on site either.
I know, that makes me worried. Holding the wrong angle, too. The backside control of the Cypher might be good, but again, a 1v5, you can only do so much. Luckily, though, moves his away on halls. Oh, the Marshall lurk is scary. The barrel may have stuck out, but Jerk, I don't think so. He's already on ace. B-site.
Gonna find a timing here, surely. Yep, gonna be the case. Anderson goes down. Recon Bolt goes in, but it's a little bit too late. Spike gonna be going down as well. Infiltrator uncharacteristically misses that first shot, but the rest of the squad has their back. Winthrop University, a flawless second round here on their attack. And they're looking to send this to map number 2 already.
Thinking men have to go for a timeout here. This could potentially be their last buy-up round for this map. They have to come up with a cohesive plan, make sure everybody on the team's on the same page. I like the aggression that we had seen last round, but the fact of the matter is that Winthrop, they're waiting again, finding the last second opportunity to push the site where they know the Sentinel presence might not be as much. And even that round, they found a lot of value with the Cypher not having too much utility there. It's a split push to A. Early flash. No! Not even! This follow-up flash is nutty!
Great stuff coming in from Reformed. Being able to find 2. Flash going to be coming out. Sure, the site is all yours if you want it. We've got the spike back here. And now you have to push into us. This double duelist working out perfectly on this back line. Lear, the reinforcements are here up top, back. And Anderson able to find one. Infiltrator, the last person left standing, has to look in every single darn direction as Reformed looking for that one. And Reformed, the hero of that round, lets Paint take all the damage to make sure that that swing is going to matter.
There was so much trust in Cave between Paint and Reformed. The fact of the matter is that normally you have the flash, then the jet swing, and then they back away with the dash. That's pretty normal. But instead, Paint baited themselves out, pushed, found information, backed away with the dash, then the flash swing from Reformed to guarantee the kill. You don't normally see that coming. That was impressive. And Winthrop, they may have found their golden ticket to bring themselves to map number 2. Pressuring this A side worked so well before, but this early recon bull may find some info. It does. Destroyed, but it doesn't matter. Valuable info knowing the majority of the presence now of Winthrop should be on A. It's this lurk through from Infiltrator that needs to be the key to open this round. Especially Lear inside of Nest. Great mid presence now.
Lear up top, able to actually find the kill, shut that one down. They're ready for the next one. Line him up, knock him down. Any more duelists want to push into me? It's not going to be any left on Winthrop.
What duelists?
Looking the wrong way. Anderson able to shut that down, and this round a little bit uncharacteristically. Winthrop University, they split up and they look a little bit scattered.
Yeah, they're looking for information right now. The mechanisms of these defenders in their usual placements. Fortunately, now only 2 left alive. They have to take fights, look to remove guns. And Lear's just on top of things right now. He is the master of information. How does he know?
Lear getting the 3 kills in halls, and nothing can be done from Winthrop University. It's all down to Gucci, this 1v5 scenario, but this round is more or less going to be over. Now, just looking to potentially shut them down, drop a couple of rifles to make their economy worse, but Reformed finds that as it's a flawless from Thinking Men.
Now, desperately needed one, too, to keep themselves afloat. Winthrop not quite at 12 just yet. They don't have the face for overtime. Still, though, I'm waiting for any moment to have those timeouts. You have quite a few rounds ahead before you can match up against Winthrop. Seems like, though, the team's on the same page, waiting for these singular plays. Aggressive pings from Winthrop, though, on B. What else do they have? Not much. Actually, no, they do have quite a bit here. I'm looking at that Blade Storm, but they're not heading towards B. Instead, this should be the fast dash back over to A, or at least fading it out. Jerk is going to stay behind, waiting for the aggressive flank. If it doesn't come, this could easily be the rotate back over to B site.
Ooh. Tailwind expiring. And Lear now creeping up here. Might find an excellent timing. The wall goes down. It's going to be an infiltration, but already it's going to be a flash to slow it down for a second. Lear goes up top. Paint trying to find something. Not able to find much. Oh, Blade goes a little bit wide, but Lear in the back line now. Can't quite find it. Nice. A little flick. Marshall right into the dome of Lear. And now things get a little bit more difficult. Jerk able to at least trade it back onto Vix. Infiltrator falling extremely low. So Reform falls down as well. Moob still anchoring the back of sight as Infiltrator's looking for another knife. Refresh. Not able to find it as Anderson gets the spray. Anderson gets 2, but not expecting moves on the back line here. Oh, good dismiss out. Pulls things through moves. Secures the round. Winthrop University in what should not have been their round. They steal it away from Thinking Men and are looking to move to map 2.
That round was the definition of unlucky. This Zippo replay perfectly shows that Lear had the right idea, caught Nasi off guard. That should have been the kill, but the flick was incredible. And Jerk, all the way on the other side of the world, caught off the rotation of Anderson, trying to make their way to A for safety in the post plant. That was wild. We don't see that too often, holding down the line on the opposite side like that. Match point, though. Winthrop, they have such a secured lead ahead of them, too. Paint now forced to bring out that operator. They need the leverage. Gucci's gone. The smokes are gone too. That might be all you need. But double cyber cages too could be a great initiation tool for what's left of Winthrop.
Also, depends on how they want to approach this. The Cypher going in first is a little bit unconventional, but whatever floats your boat. And now, he's in an excellent position, able to take that Cypher out. It gets a lot easier to move in onto site. Anderson just to the back here. Cyber Cage going to be going up, cut off that sight line, but that might actually work out in Anderson's favor. Reformed actually able to find 2. Dropping the spike, and all this ground is all going to be for naught. His moves falls down as well. The Thinking Men, they're not out of this one just quite yet. They divide and they conquer.
Beautiful work. Pain getting that opening pick made things so much more difficult for Winthrop. They lost their smokes. They lost their way. The denied line of sight denial consistently too. Sure, you could have relied on cyber cages, but that was that solo journey yet again. Viper Wall comes out on B this time around from Thinking Men. They're looking to divide out B site. A, appetizing. But they need to hold down B in case Winthrop wanted to switch it up yet again. They have the right read. 3 ults to work with too. Anderson set up and ready for the Viper's pit.
Don't get in my way.
Yeah, just lets it go right off the bat. Smart move. Winthrop kind of thwarted on that push.
Owl Drone. Could be a moment of breakage here. Lear's there for the follow-up off of that. Owl Drone can't quite find much. Does get a little bit of damage on Infiltrator.
I mean, all things considered, though, Winthrop University, they force out a couple of those ultimates and haven't really made a move. So, you know what? That kind of works out for them if they do want to just rotate around, maybe go next round, because they've kind of done their job at this point. Paint going to be moving up with this operator, getting all that information up tube.
This is so good. Pain can easily catch off the initiation. Reform's there for the follow-up.
Oh, misses the shot. Uncharacteristic, but it's okay. Reformed is ready for it. Reformed is like the ultimate wingman for Paint. When Paint can't quite find it, Reformed's going to be there. Now, the decoy goes in. They know that they're coming in from double doors. It's an excellent flash here as Reformed is able to take space. Both Lear shot down. It's going to be spiked down. Reformed finds yet another, and now Lear ready for the cleanup as well. One person left. Dirk trying to keep that one alive, but flicks around just at the wrong time as Vix finds that kill, and Thinking Men, they're slowly clawing this one back.
Yeah, you said it perfectly there. Reformed and Paint having that buddy system, making sure that A site is completely shut down and letting the Sentinels do their thing on Bs, meaning that Winthrop are going to have a hard time pushing a site. It's very similar to how when the rounds were swapped too. But mid is still open, outside of Paint. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge though to push into it now that Paint's presence was known just a few rounds before against Gucci. And so now the main lanes have to be the focus point. Look at mid side though. Reformed is going to look for maybe the flash and the swing in the beginning. If there's no presence on B side, he's going to use that gain crash back over to A and hold the back lines. Presence, pressure, anti-mapping for the defenders is going to be everything here to bring things to overtime.
Already, a lot of information being given away. They're totally okay with that one. Hunter's Fury in the back line as well. Infiltrator not able to really secure the kill. It's Reformed actually just backing out of it, but it actually works out well. Winthrop University, they're able to find two. Now they're pulling that Viper's Pit. It's just the game of ultimates at this point, and they want to make sure that it's all in their favor. Snake Bite drop down inside as well. All the information inside. An excellent little post plant setup here. Is Infiltrator ready for it as they decide to move in? Nicey now moving in. Spots out Reform's head there. All the reinforcements come through as Anderson scoops that one up. Reformed with the alley-oop. Now Gucci still alive in here, waiting for the opportunity, turns around at the wrong second, but actually goes by scot-free. Gucci good with two, looking for the last one, and Jerk gets it. Winthrop University, they win their map choice and will win it 13-7.
A complete cleanup from yesterday. While it was a great performance on Breeze then, this was an even better one now. The communication was there, and the number one thing I had noticed from yesterday was the confidence after losing a few rounds. Everyone on Winthrop started to dial it back and kind of wither away. This time around, despite any sort of win condition for or against them, they never gave up and they continued to apply pressure, and eventually they broke Thinking Men. Now they have to do it for the rest of the series. They can't just do it for one map.
Yeah, and on top of that too, they got to keep this momentum going. Once again, that Challengers spot now so close for Winthrop University. All that stands between them and that is one more map, which is Thinking Men's pick of Lotus. Don't go anywhere. We're throwing to a quick break, and when we get back, we'll see whether or not Thinking Men will be able to come back. See you in a bit.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? In life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.
face.